Hi, let's talk about your Bloomberg Business Week presentation. So, you are going to create an executive summary. And the trick here is that you probably want to figure out which article you want to do your executive summary on as soon as possible, because no one in the class can use the same article. And you are all going to find your articles at Bloomberg Business Week resourcecenter.businessweek.com. So you will want to sign up for Bloomberg as soon as possible. Make sure that you can connect to the Resource Center. And then you will want to call your article. You will go to turn it in. You will go to the discussion tab at the top. And you will hopefully be one of the first people to enter your information. But if not, you will look at what other people have chosen. And you will choose an article at Business Week that appeals to you that no one else has chosen. And so you'll put the article name and author in there, and whoever called it first gets it. So I will double check that, but I should not read in the same class two people who have the same article. Now, you will come here to resourcecenter.businessweek.com, and once you've signed in, I have signed in and have access, you will look for an article that's appealing, that's interesting to you. As you can tell, I have recently searched Plano ISD Elementary School Times, sorry. It's also raining outside, and you might hear my children. I apologize for all that. And an airplane's going overhead. But explaining this to you is kind of what I do one-on-one for a lot of people, but let's see if we can just do this here. What I would urge you to do is go to Disciplines and Topics on the left and find your field. So let's say that you're a business administration major and you were kind of unsure about what you want to do. So you might look at business fundamentals, business strategy, business law. If you're drifting towards focusing on accounting or tax, great. That's okay with me. All of this is acceptable for business administration majors, but if you have a particular interest in a field, let's say you're very interested in information technology, and to be honest, almost everyone is basically going to become some version of ITS major in the future, so just be aware of that. You would click here, and this shows you a whole list of articles that fit that track, but you can even look closer. You know, maybe you think, gee, the way information security is going these days, that's a really interesting field. Maybe I could find a cool career in that. So, take a look at the choices. Now, obviously, I could have a lot of people look at a lot of articles here just on information security that have come out recently. Now, as you can tell, all of these are written by Angela I.T. Kaiser, PhD. Bloomberg Business Week hires PhDs, people who are experts in their field, to write their articles. So you tend to get a lot from the same source. Let's look at identity thief for hire. So they give you a little short summary here, and then here's an abstract. And you can read the abstract and decide if you want to look at it more closely. The discussion questions and the quiz questions kind of give you a sense of what you should focus on in the article. And what I want you to do is come over here. If you've decided that you like this, you'll probably go to the discussion board and see if anyone else has called it. You might read the article anyway. In fact, I would urge you to read the article. But if all you do is go through these and read the abstracts, you will know more than most people do. Most people don't read and think about what's going on in business today. And if you are reading this, and I would urge you, please go to Bloomberg Business Week. Please read it. Please read it every week. Please read something every day. This will prime you to become the type of person who stands out in job interviews, who has something to say, who does interesting research. Because you will be building those connections and all of that rich context that allow you to make better choices. Now, I just clicked read the full article, and here it is. An identity thief explains the art of emptying your bank account. Meet Dmitry Neskovets, the con man from Minsk. Now, to me, this already sounds interesting. Why? Because everyone's fearful of losing something. So if I were to present this to people and talk about it, it immediately draws on that fear of loss that people have. I have that fear of loss, so I want to know more. Now I'm going to kind of glance at the article. It's a pretty long article. Now I need to write an executive summary. So if I've called the article and I'm the first person who put this author and this title in, the abstract was by the PhD. This is by Dune Lawrence. So I would put this article with that title in, and then the PhD author wrote our abstract. But the next thing I'm probably going to do is, if I've called it, I am going to read the entire article and take notes, go back and look at the abstract and kind of decide what I think is interesting, and I'm going to look at the executive summary assignment itself. And see, you can hear everything. See, my house is very loud today. So what I need to think about now is, what does an executive summary do? Well, an executive summary is intended to inform very specifically an executive of something interesting, or someone else, it could be other people in the organization, and to persuade, but to persuade with facts and to persuade fairly subtly. Now what you are doing is, you're all picking different articles. So there are 43 people in the class, there are going to be 43 different articles, but I'm going to put you in a Bloomberg group. And you are going to bring your executive summary printed one day to class, and I will put you in your groups, and you will read your executive summaries to the people around you. And you will pick out of the executive summaries that have been selected an article to present to the class. Now, the other executive summaries that are used, if you can find ways to connect those to your article, then you can use that to kind of fill in the blanks and to basically elevate your presentation from a B to an A. Because what's the difference between a B or a C presentation and an A? An A is a rich presentation. An A brings in more than just a book report. An A gives you a broader perspective. So let's say you're going to write your executive summary. Remember that an executive summary is organized the way the article itself is organized. So you'll read through this, and you will be able to summarize what you're reading. And if you see something that you could not say better than the person who wrote the article, then you will include that in quotation marks. Don't make sure that your entire executive summary is not composed of quotes. So, only things that the person said much better than you. Essentially, you are going to summarize, and that does not mean that you paraphrase by just changing a word or two. No, you summarize. And you explain why things are interesting. So you go through here, you break it into sections, you explain why it's interesting, you explain why it's relevant, and there are 2 examples that are annotated that can kind of show you how to do that. And then you conclude and discuss why it's important. Now, there's going to be information in the article itself that shows why it's important, and there's also the initial draw. What is the title? Why would we read this? Your bank account. So everyone cares about this topic. I hope that this gives you a sense of how the executive summary is going to work in connection to the Bloomberg presentation. Essentially, you are going to call an article. You must pick an article that no one else in the class picks, and you'll do that at turnitin.com's discussion. Then you will be put in a group, and you will have your printed executive summary, and you will read it to your group, and you will all pick one article and put a presentation together. So one of the people's articles will be picked. Hopefully you will use information from the other articles, and then you will present to the class. So you will, whatever article you picked, you will now present to the class. But the skills that you gain from kind of breaking yours down should help in your presentation. And I will talk more about the presentation in another video. Thank you.